Hi guys, I'm the Lag Doctor Clay Ballard, and today we're going to review this week's LPGA Tour winner, Anna Nordqvist. She has a nearly perfect takeaway, and we're going to talk about two key moves you can do to improve your takeaway. Now this is something I see almost 90% of all golfers struggle with. We're going to show you the proper moves, how to initiate those moves using the right muscles, and I'm also going to give you an example of this move being performed incorrectly. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so on the left, let's start with Anna's swing, and you'll notice nice relaxed arms that's set up. I'm going to draw the triangle of what you would see with the arms. You'll hear a lot of people talk about this in golf instruction, and we're just going to talk about the spine angle here a little bit. You'll notice as she rotates back, all of the initiation of the movement comes from within the body. So see how stable her spine stays throughout the backswing? She's not getting a lot of extra movement in there. That's because the initiation came from the core of the body instead of with the hands and the arms. So we'll see here at the completion of the takeaway, really nice wide takeaway. Both arms are very relaxed and very straight. And that all happens because the initial movement, let's go back here to address again, comes from the right shoulder, feeling like that turns back towards center. So what we're going to imagine here is this is the spine angle. Here's my right shoulder. I'm going to feel like I turn my right shoulder behind my body and move it toward my spine, and what that's going to do is keep everything very, very centered as I rotate back. You'll notice how in the hands and arms, very little wrist movement here, almost no wrist movement at all, and this club is making a very wide arc. Another way to check this is to notice the butt end of the club is probably a good 8 inches away from her right leg as it's parallel with the ground. So big wide arc. It's going to create a lot of club head speed because we're making, the bigger arc we have, the faster that club will move, and it's really going to help to build a solid swing. And the solid swing all starts from this piece in the beginning. If we get started out correctly, that's going to help us to swing correctly throughout the rest of the swing. Here we have a high handicap golfer on the right, and we'll notice as he starts to take this club away, look how it's all wrist hinge here. So this is all picking the club up with the wrist, and now we'll pause the club when it's parallel with the ground, just like we see with Anna, and you'll notice no width with the hands and arms, not very much shoulder turn at all, and he's just picking up this club. Again, you'll see bigger shoulder turn here with Anna, nice wide arms, and then again the club is parallel with the ground at the same period of time. Let's go ahead and go to the top of the swing, and we'll start to notice how there's a lot of extra movement that happens throughout the swing. So here's the spine angle again at address. We'll notice at the top, swaying way off that and then back and through. A lot of swaying going on in this swing. And the reason for that is because it all starts off with incorrect motions. So let's go ahead and take a look at her takeaway from another angle, and we'll talk about the second piece I want to focus on other than starting that rotation with the core. Alright, so we talked about in the first part of this video how the initiation of the swing comes from that right shoulder and the core of the body rather than from the hands, and most people again are going to want to start the swing with the hands. That's not what we want to do. That starts us off in a bad habit. And the second piece I want to talk about here is now getting a little bit of rotation from the forearms. So those are the two main motions of the takeaway. And if we look at the right side of the screen, we can see that now the club face is vertical, and if we look at the top of her forearms, they're also facing vertically now. So those forearms have rotated a little bit from where they were at address. So if we go back to address again, we would see that the forearms are now facing up this way. Let's take a look at this same motion here on the video on the left, and we'll see that the forearms are obviously facing the camera as we're looking forward here. They're looking toward us. And then as we go to the end of the takeaway, we pause when that club's parallel with the ground. Now we can see that these forearms have rotated where they're looking a little bit more up toward the sky. So that's a very important piece of the swing. So as the club comes back, it's going to rotate open. Now we have this square face if we look in the video on the right. And as we go back, this face is going to be rotating open. But again, that's not happening with the hands and wrist. That's just happening with rotating the forearms. There's a great drill on the site that's going to be the bucket drill, and it's going to show you exactly how to do that. And I'll just go over a brief synopsis of that really, really quickly here. As we set up, if we were holding a range bucket in our hands, it would look something like this. And then as we went to the top of the backswing, now that bucket is going to be facing up, where you can imagine if there was some water in that bucket, it wouldn't be spilling out. So that's the general idea of that drill there, and there's also some more keys going on that in the full video. Now we'll see as she completes the backswing, as I mentioned, very centered, not a lot of extra movement in her swing, and very consistent golf swing. If we take a look at this from face on also, again, if I mark that spine angle, not a lot of movement in the spine, because this is all started with the correct origin of motion, and now throughout the swing very, very consistent. So there's obviously, with a weight shift to the left, the spine will move forward, but a very consistent golf swing, great takeaway, and a great swing for you to model for the first few feet. All right, so lastly I want to show you Adam Scott on the left. We're going to see it's the exact same motion we just looked at. The initiation is coming from the body and not the hands and arms. Very wide arms as he's coming back, and those forearms have rotated now more vertically. Same thing with Tiger Woods also. Initiation is coming from the core and that right shoulder, and these forearms are rotating. So these three takeaways are nearly identical. If you want to play like the best, it all starts with the takeaway, perfecting that motion, and then we can move on from there. All right, so I really want to thank you guys for joining us today. Remember to +1 this video on Google, and if you're a premium Rotary Swing member, be sure to start sending in those swing reviews. We can walk you through this. As a premium member, you get 2 reviews per month. Send in your video. We'll analyze that swing. We'll tell you exactly what you need to work on to start to improve your game. So really take advantage of that for those of you that are premium members out there. Now, as a bonus for you guys, I'm going to attach the bucket drill, which is going to help walk you through exactly how to make this motion. Everybody that struggles with it, with this key piece of the takeaway, always improves as soon as they do the bucket drill. I'm going to play a few seconds of that video. If you want to see the full thing, go ahead and click the link that's at the bottom of your page or your screen popping up right now, or down in the description if you're on a mobile device. And I'll see you guys soon. Good luck with that takeaway, and I hope you have the best year of your life and play some fantastic golf this year. I'll see you soon.
I have in my hands a simple box here, but this drill that I'm going to describe to you I actually call the bucket drill. But I don't have a bucket lying around, but I got plenty of boxes, so you're going to get the same idea here. So one of the things that's really common in the backswing is for people to not really understand how to turn their shoulders versus tilting them, how to move their arms, and so they start making things overly complicated. They start tilting their shoulders this way, or they start turning really flat this way, or they start rolling their arms in, and they don't feel this stuff. And so if you're smart about working on your golf swing, you know that you've got to take a lot of these simple drills and do them over and over again to really develop the feel so that it translates into when you're actually swinging the golf club. So this drill is probably one of the most invaluable ones that I can teach you to understand how to actually make that simple move in the backswing. Because a lot of people really overcomplicate this and they mess things up and they end up off from this first instant they move the golf club, and a simple box or bucket can show you everything you need to know about how to understand how to rotate. So here's all we have to do. Assume your setup position, hold a box up and imagine that it's full of water.